Hi Aquarius, welcome to your November 2019 Astro Update. It's Rena here, and this is a month that is really good for career. So November, of course, is the kickoff for the holiday season for a lot of people, and I don't know if it's in general a great month for career advancement because there's so much going on with preparation for holidays. But for you, this is really good. And, I suppose every year when the sun goes into Scorpio, it's going to be that way to some degree or another. Actually, this particular year, we begin November with a Mercury retrograde in this sector. So you might even be rethinking what you're doing career-wise, and perhaps there's something else that you want to do with your life, because then the energy starts to go into the 11th house, and that's your hopes and wishes, and that transcends mere career. That has to do with, what you want to do in general to be a happy person, to feel like you're fulfilling your destiny and just having your dreams come true. So that rethinking that is being done in the first few weeks of the month may also create kind of a tenuous vibe with your particular profession, because you may be weighing the odds, or there may even be something coming from outside of you that has to do with indecision or a communication breakdown, something along those lines. Not necessarily something bad, but perhaps a review of some sort. So, for instance, if you were in line to get a promotion and all of a sudden it doesn't come through, they may be going through more deliberations and things like that. But it will get settled, probably sometime after the third week of November. And so the other things that are going on here, the sun is in that 10th house, and that makes you very career-oriented, but also the consummate career person, ambitious for your success. And having that sense of dignity that comes from when you do achieve something and feel that other people appreciate or notice your achievements. From the first of the month onwards, until, for several weeks, Venus is in Sagittarius. And that means we're talking about the 11th house. The 11th house was called by the late astrologer Jane Spiller the luckiest house. And so Venus here can certainly add fuel to the fire of positive things happening, because Venus magnetizes good things to you, whether it be money, whether it be some kind of, love, or just regard, kind thoughts. Venus in the 11th can mean that you meet your love partner in a social circumstance with your friends. If you're going out with your friends, or if you belong to a group, that's what the 11th house is too. It's the collective, whether it's a personal group of friends or some kind of a cause that you are a part of, that you belong to a group that is dealing with that. And it's a good time for social networking, because you come across very positively to groups of people. On the 12th, we have a full moon at 19 degrees of Taurus. More fixed energy, so we're dealing with another square, but this time in the opposite direction, this time in the 4th house of home and family. Something comes to fruition with your mother, or comes, some realization comes. This can be, there's going to be like you're going to start having energy in the 12th house, especially in December. So the 4th house is your childhood, and the 12th house can even be past lives. So there may be something that you are connecting the dots on that connects with your childhood, and therefore is kind of helping you, illuminating certain aspects for you to see and to make sense out of. This can be selling a house, moving out of a house. This could be like a real ending of a time in your life. Maybe you're moving out of your family's home for the first time. Let's say you're 18 or 19 or 20 and you're moving out. That is a significant event that marks the passage from childhood to adulthood. You may be just selling a house that you own, or leaving behind some of those ghosts of childhood. On the 19th, Mars goes into Scorpio, the 10th house, and you are very ambitious career-wise. You're really trying to get things done, advance, and so on and so forth. Just really kind of focused on that. And you have to be careful. Whenever Mars goes into a house, it has, like any transit actually, come to think of it, it has its positive sides and its challenging sides. The positive side of Mars in the 10th is that you have a lot of stamina, even like physicals I'm talking about, to be able to promote yourself career-wise, and confidence in, it's really kind of an aggressive energy, but the ability to promote yourself and to try to achieve a certain thing or things. And on the downside, or to watch out for, is a tendency to be too pushy, where you're just kind of being very aggressive without having a sense of stepping on other people's toes. The 10th house can be authority figures. And so in the work world, the authority figures are your boss, or the people that are what we call, when I was working retail, what we would call the suits. Well, I didn't call them suits, but you know what I mean. The people who wear the suits when everybody else is wearing the jeans or the Dockers. Do they still have Dockers? Chinos. And trying to fight them. I mean, not, physically, but arguing with them, clashing with them. And Aquarius is rebellious already. So you probably have a built-in resentment towards authority figures from the get-go. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by having all this great career energy and then kind of blowing it because you can't go along with the program. Because you have this need to rebel against everything, rebel without a cause. By the way, James Dean, an Aquarian. Okay. On the 20th, Mercury turns direct in that 10th house. Things get sorted out. By the way, Mercury can be contracts. So if you're trying to sign a contract, maybe it's a work situation, just even a new job situation, even though the 10th house is more of the direction of career rather than the literal job itself. Sometimes these transits to me are interchangeable in terms of getting hired and waiting for the green light and things like that. And so it might be up in the air, and then it kind of, you get the green light at the end of November. The sun goes into Sag on the 22nd of the month, in the 11th house. And even though, the sun being in the 10th is really good in a lot of ways, it's a kind of very empowering for your career. It still forms a square with you, and now you have that friendly angle. And in addition to that, there's that sense of the sun being in your house, the house that you rule, which is the 11th house. So it's like a double dose of like the sun in Aquarius, almost like having your solar return in a sense. So you should feel really good, starting in that third week. And then on the 25th, Venus goes into Capricorn in the 12th house. And an example would be, this is kind of like a hidden house. An example would be if you are somebody who is, that you met a love partner or a potential love interest while you're out with friends, and you decide to hook up, but you don't want your friends to know about it. Not talking about anything like that you're cheating on anybody, but you just want to be private about the relationship because it's kind of, maybe it's a little awkward because you used to date somebody else in the group, or they did, or something like that, or you just don't want people prying. You just want to have that space to discover each other without other people sticking their nose into it. And the other thing about this is sometimes this can be an affair, a clandestine relationship that is kind of like on the down low, and people around you, you may be trying to sneak around. This can also be meeting a soulmate or twin flame, somebody that feels very familiar to you, and it's like you've known them forever, and maybe you have. On the 26th, we have a new moon at 4 degrees of Sag in the 11th house. So making space for your hopes and wishes, really believing in yourself and your dreams, and there being like seeds planted in this area. And, this can be good for making your dreams come true. On the 27th, Neptune, in its own sign Pisces, goes direct. Neptune has been retrograde for several months. There may have been disillusionment in terms of your money situation. Maybe you thought you had more than you did. This would be especially about your earning capacity. So again, maybe there's something with your job situation that is connected to that, your career. Maybe they promised you more than they're actually delivering. That would be particularly true if you work in the field of sales where you don't have a set amount. Maybe they have like, okay, you're going to get this percentage of the, why can I never think of the name of that? Commission, that's the ticket. And it doesn't pan out, let's say you're a real estate agent, you sell a house, and it's like, show me the money, where is it? And it's like, oh, well, it turns out we changed that, something in the fine print. So that could feel disillusioning, and but then you are able to reconcile it and put it maybe in the bigger picture, and are able to move on. And actually, with Neptune in the second house, I'm sure there are a lot of people who would think that isn't the best transit because the second house is so practical and Neptune is so impractical. But I think it can be wonderful for, law of attraction practices where you really understand that it's not about the dollar amount in the bank. It's not about the amount of money that you earn each week. It's about seeing your potential earnings as limitless and, visualizing that not just kind of being caught up in the figures, you know, the actual numbers, but being able to envision for yourself a maybe even multiple income streams, who knows, at some point. So in any case, that is what I have for you, Aquarius. And I do private readings. I do natal chart readings. I love to do those. So please check me out. There's a link below. My website is rainamoonastrology.com. Take care. Bye.